Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Trekking Across the Universe here on the NDB Media Network. We are doing the House of the Dragon episode 4, and I would love to welcome my co-hosts over to my right, Liz. How you doing, Liz?
Fine, how are you?
As well as can be expected.
Okay, good.
Team Rainies, how you doing over there?
Doing well. Breathing today, but doing well.
Yes, yes, indeed. And look down there, the man of the hour, the man from the YouTube and the talented universe. How you doing there?
I'm tired. I've been driving all day. I feel like you do when you drive a lot.
Well, you've been driving us crazy, Michael. That's the point.
I know, but that's okay.
How you
But
doing,
hey,
Lord?
I got the furniture delivered, all taken care of. That's great. So,
Excellent.
and I
How
didn't
you
fall
doing,
down the
Lord Gregor?
stairs. So there you go.
I'm doing well.
All
Trying
right.
not to melt.
Same thing over here. I just want to get out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here. I arrived at the last minute, and I do apologize. Today is the anniversary, the 5th anniversary of the passing of my father, and I'm going to do this program because I want to, and I'm also doing it because, as you know or do not know, my brother passed away yesterday, and I can't sit in my room just being there. I didn't think I was going to break down that quickly, and I'm so sorry. So I don't mean to be this any more than that's why I'm doing it today. And I want to thank Hope because she got all my cheat notes for me, and I have them. Little did I know I decided to print Hope.
Ooh.
It's 30 pages.
I
Well,
had to
yeah,
make the font bigger. It was
yeah.
only
I mean,
13.
she had the font like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I need it like that too. So.
All
See?
But
right. Well,
13 pages is still ridiculous, though.
fair
I
enough.
gotta I gotta
Forgive me.
reduce.
To your dad and to your brother, Roger.
You're here.
No, this time it's not apple cider, but I do want to welcome everyone who is watching us, and I thank you. And folks, let us know who you are and where you hail from. Why don't you check out what is happening at ndbmedia.link? You can find all of our links down at the bottom, and they are there. And we're going to get to it. And I think I'm probably going to be more of a sideshow on this one, or maybe I didn't mean to say. I think I already am. I'm going to be a companion on the trip on this one right now. I didn't see the episode until today, and I saw it only because, unfortunately, wallowing in grief, I started seeing some comments and stuff, and I was like, "Oh no, 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 no!" And then I did get a message from someone here, and I said, "Okay, shut up and watch it." And yeah, it is what it is. But it's all good. Look, folks, we have quite a few people watching us on Twitter. Head on over to YouTube, find us on over here, and once again, let us know who you are and where you hail from, and everyone else. I believe someone else is going to be joining us who is brand new, Cynthia. I believe you're a big, big fan, and Rockers. Thank you. Yes. Before we get to the episode, your thoughts, and then we'll get to the review. I want to start off with Michael.
The ending devastated me. I was hoping it wouldn't happen, and they were so mean, and I thought it wasn't going to happen, and then it did. That's all I'm going
Liz?
to say about that.
Liz?
Um, it was devastating, the ending. I was telling Hope earlier, my mascara was running with the ending, or both times. And then the last time through, I watched it 3 times. Last time through, I made it through without crying. But Michael's right. That surprise jump ending there really threw you off. Even though I already knew it was coming, it still got me.
Hope.
Same. I knew it was coming. I was hoping it wasn't going to be this soon. and I had just said numerous times that she was my favorite character. And usually when I watch a show and I say someone's my favorite character, they end up going. It was hard though. It was a beautiful way to go out.
So it was your fault, you're saying, Hope?
No, I don't want to take credit for that one.
So
I
Gregor?
cried too.
Well, we had dragon fights.
Yeah.
Finally. But yeah, no, that was rough. There was a little bit of side story moving. I think we got a hint that Lord Corlys has a bastard son or a boyfriend.
Yeah,
Aha.
very good.
So that was kind of interesting. For a second there, I thought Rhaenys was going to be enjoying the young man.
You know, I should have seen that. The writing was on the wall. If you look back, this is how good these writers are on setting things up. They could see it. Last episode, I commented how Rhaenys reached out to Corlys. Corlys kind of was like, yeah, I've got things to do. And she was left grasping. And of course, in this one, she recognizes something. And then Corlys reacts in a bad way. Says, why are you coming to persecute me? She's not persecuting him. She is a partner among partners. She's saying, dude, he is who he is. Cut the crap. He should be treated differently.
Well, yeah. That was
Okay.
it was, yeah, as you said, the writing was on the wall. Yeah, she was just saying, look, if he is, treat him like that. Don't treat him like an outsider. I mean,
I guess
Yeah.
Corlys reacted. I'm sorry, Gregor, go.
No, I was just to say the Targaryens aren't exactly known for their fidelity.
Or their love of of their family. Oh, no, actually. No, I don't. I take it
They
back.
do
I'm
love
wrong.
their
No, they
family
do love their family. Yeah. I'm
in every
sorry.
which way possible.
Yeah, you're right. I was absolutely wrong on that. Straight up. I received a message today, and it crushed me. That episode broke my soul, and it was at that moment where I was like, "Well, mine's already broken enough, so what the hell? Better watch it." I'm stupid. I
Might as
should.
well add to it.
Might as well add to it. Rocker says I was flat out wrong about Rainey. She was an honorable character with compassionate qualities and a brave warrior. You know, there's a scene in Independence Day, as you all know, when he's going at the very end, and he's Fox 1, there's a malfunction, and the missile doesn't work. It's like, what is he going to do? It's the last chance. And he looks down, and he sees the image of his kids. And it's at that moment when he decides he knows what he's going to do. He wasn't there
I
to...
have chills from you saying that because I remember that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes.
Mine too.
I was in the theater and I was horrified watching this episode when she tells Meleys attack and they return. I instantly saw that and I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, and I did jump when it shot out from behind the
castle.
castle. Thank you. I did flat out jump, and I was so shocked.
Yeah, that was a jumpy moment.
Yeah.
And when it got a hold of Meleys, and you could see Meleys turn to Rhaenyra,
Sure.
and she was fighting until there was no more.
Yeah.
And
It was just
when the fire, for lack of a better word, went out, she started to go back. Rhaenys just let go. She knew what was going to happen. And I know this is a TV program, but folks, we are human beings, and we are driven by stories of old, that which came before us. In the United States, we do not have very much of stories of old like countries in Europe, in Asia, even in South America or Africa. These stories, our are our Zeus and Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. And in Game of Thrones, this is as hard as it gets, man. Rhaenys was a favorite character by many. And these are
One of
the
the best,
stories.
better actors on the show as well. Better performers on the show.
Yes. And even though this is just a TV show, this is what we will remember. This is what we go by. These individuals lead lives that we all aspire to. I'm not saying the conquering warrior that goes to battle. People that take responsibility, do their best, and stand by you.
Plus, she's been through so much.
True.
Those qualities are masked in the story, and not even masked because we could see them, but they're told through the story. It's not the gallant warrior going off to fight the battle, but it's when the moment arrives, they show what they're worth, and it's just unbelievable. But folks, I know we jumped way ahead, and we're going to go through the episode. Maybe we will be all over the place, but the name of the episode was what? The Red Dragon and the Gold, was it?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel a little not having everything. I know there was a new director. I believe the director's name was Tyler. I caught that, and I believe the writer is the regular writer on this one that he writes for television. But let's get to it, guys. What do you guys want to do? What do you guys want to go to now? I guess other than talking about the episode, is Aegon dead?
God,
Well, that's what I was. I mean, and I've only seen it once, unlike others. They had a scene looking at, I guess it was the remains of the dragon, and I wasn't
hear Sunfire
I
breathing,
wasn't sure what was
moaning.
going on.
Yeah, you
was
could
he
see.
there or was he not? I don't know.
I have only seen it twice myself. The Sunfire. Was it breathing or was it the body?
No, he was breathing and moaning. You could
He was
hear
breathing.
like that whimpering. From
yeah,
pain.
even though it looked like he blew up when we crashed.
And
He
did
just
you
had a
notice-
broken wing.
Did you notice the way Aemon was approaching him?
When-
Yeah,
If Cole hadn't have been there, he would have made sure Aegon was gone, whether he is or he's not. He definitely would have made sure.
Rhaenys didn't burn, but Aegon did.
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah, there was no doubt. He got burnt up. He might now be part of his suit. I don't know. Stuff like that tends to melt. I want to give a quick shout out. I want to thank Gridiron Girl. Thank you for watching us and being on with us. I want to give a shout out to Peter Gama. Thank you for the likes. We appreciate it. We really, really do. And we go on a bit further. So other than that, how was the episode? Because we were talking last week about it might have been something akin to a filler episode, which it was. But there was less action going on as opposed to episode 2. Oh my goodness, I mean, give me a break. But this episode, we did have the Battle of the Dragons, but we saw some old-fashioned combat too. We saw some Rourke's drift action from Shaka Zulu, where the archers were firing, going back, next line firing. Very reminiscent to Shaka Zulu in Rourke's Drift or the movie Zulu. It was good, and there was a good play. I appreciated how Allison's brother gave Cole lip about, dude, now we're traveling the day. What's going on? We should do this at night. And he's like, no, we got to move. We have to move. And I think he says, are you a coward now? And I forget exactly what he said in return. Do you guys remember that? That's before they went east. Because he said, I swear it was almost Valley Girl. Harrenhal's west. But no,
Indeed, it is.
Yeah. and they set up a good ambush. This was well done.
And we got
See-
to see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they did it at night, it would have been very dark, and we wouldn't have been able to see what was going on.
Yeah, and then one of our other co-hosts that doesn't join us for this would have complained.
Oh,
Oh.
I was already thinking of Gina earlier when Damon was going through Harrenhal. That is exactly what went through my mind when it got so dark. I said, "Oh my goodness, I know what Gina would say."
Mhm.
That was funny.
Oh, I do love that they're building on Harrenhal being haunted. I, in this universe, spirits and magic are very real, and everything that Damon is going through in Harrenhal is
Oh,
enjoyable.
it's
to
creepy.
watch.
It's creepy.
I think a lot
I
of
don't know
it
what's
is
worse,
hidden-
that or go ahead, Liz. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think a lot of it is Damon's hidden feelings, maybe being helped come out a little bit. When what his true self really wanted the crown, and just certain scenes that he has seen, and running into both the younger version of Rhaenyra, and then twice, and then he takes her head. Even still, definitely proves that he wanted this. He wanted the crown. And then when he ran into Aemon, it's a little bit of him that created that. Created the whole issue with Aemon, and how much Aemon actually looked up to him as a warrior, even though he'll never admit it. He aspired to kind of become that.
But wasn't it Matt Smith dressed as Aemon?
Yes. That's why I said that's why he
Yeah.
kind of created Aemon.
You caught
He
that,
saw
didn't you?
himself
Very good.
in
Oh
him.
God, yes.
Well,
Look.
Aemon has a very distinctive chin.
He has a very distinctive nose.
Super long.
His
Yes.
nose is very sharp.
Now, if we look at some of the history, I don't pretend to know it all, especially compared to Hope and Liz, who really know this. I'm not sure how much your knowledge is, Lord Gregor, but these are Targaryens. They're crazy. It runs in their blood. And if this castle is haunted, I feel for you, Damon. I really, really do, Damon. I feel for you.
Is
Because
this like you reap what you sow moment?
I think it's a reap what you sow, but I'm getting the thing that the castle is haunted, but it's still his psyche. It's who and what he is. So it is a combination of it's haunted, you reap what you sow, but he still is. Because remember, in episode 1 of season 2, she said, "Do you accept me as your queen?" He didn't even look at her.
But he did crown her.
I catch that.
Oh no, I got it. I was waiting to see if
No, I
anyone
didn't
else was
hear
going
it.
to jump
I
in on
didn't
that.
hear- I didn't
He
hear
did
it.
crown her.
Yeah. Oh, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I'm still laughing about Lord Larys saying Harrenhal was more crippled than he was.
Oh, that was funny. Right, where Aegon tells him, "Dude, that's your castle."
Yeah.
He's like, that place is more crippled than I am.
Yeah.
That was probably the only good line Larys has.
Literally.
Yeah, he's like a weird character, but he's a combination of interesting and repulsive.
He's a combination between Littlefinger and Lord Varys.
Yes, yeah.
And he
So-
sees all.
Yeah.
Sees all, he hears all. The Red Worm did show up in this episode as well, or what? No, the Grey
yeah,
Worm.
She was.
White Worm.
No, is
she
she
was
the Red Worm or the Grey Worm?
White Worm.
What is her name?
White
The White
Worm.
Worm. Sorry, I would have gotten there eventually.
Mysaria.
Yeah, she was listening to one of them, so she was getting. So they can't. Is she just gathering information, or is she contractually involved in a contract with someone? But before that, I did appreciate how the council was uppity with the family. They're like, "We should be doing stuff. The queen is not here. What is going on?" The kids
Jace was the
called.
one leading that. Jace was
Yeah.
the one that was the most upset.
He was very much upset, and they even gave Rainy's lip until Lord Corliss returned, and it was obvious the hand of the king. They all bowed, and it was interesting how he says, "Can't you guys stop bickering and actually do something?"
Oh, that was hysterical.
It really was. I did appreciate that, but then shortly thereafter, we see her return, and again in this episode, I don't know if it's Alicent that says it, but she's talking about ever since the passing of Viserys to where they are now, it's only been a few weeks. I get the impression it's still been less than a month, but it's been happening very quick. And I don't know if this is. Go ahead, Mike.
Who caught? One of the characters said exactly how long it had been. I think since the he was made as king.
The armies left a fortnight ago, so that would have been 2 weeks.
I think it was like 3 weeks. All this has been happened 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I got the impression it was more than 3 weeks, less than a month. Yes.
Then that brings to question, whose baby was Alicent miscarrying? Whose baby did she abort?
Oh, come on.
Was it Cole's, which everybody would assume, or was it Daenerys?
I would assume.
Who? Wait. Who?
Husbands.
It's only been 2 weeks since or 2 or 3 weeks since her husband passed. Liz might think that she might have still been having relationships with him.
I don't think so.
Was his health such that he could have, though?
Yeah,
exactly.
You were already messing around with Cole then?
Oh, I think so.
Possibly.
Oh, she's been messing around with Cole for a long time.
Like years.
Yeah, I think it was Cole's. And so she was basically getting rid of the child, right? By taking that drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't a preventative. That was action.
Yeah.
And someone caught that, right? Oh, it was Strong, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, wow, that's a mighty expensive elixir there." He knew exactly what it was. Interesting.
And he was also paying attention to the books that Alicent had open. So Alicent might have been researching the Song of Ice and Fire that
Rhaenyra talked about.
But it's a secret, so it wouldn't be found in the books. I took it as the books that were in her chambers were war strategies for Sir Criston and Cole to learn from.
Oh.
But remember, she had asked or had gone into Aegon's wardrobe, whatever it was, where the books were stored, because she was looking for her husband's old stuff. And he's like, "Well, I got rid of them." That's where she was looking for it. It was there. And I think at that point, she went and she got it and was looking at some of it.
But by then, Larys had already told Aegon, so she removed him.
Yeah, she slammed Aegon about that. You know, he walks in and he's, "Hey, what are you doing here?" "Books, dude." "I'm here for the books."
Like, I didn't burn them. I just had them moved.
Yeah.
Which would have been fine.
I do appreciate how he is starting to get unnerved because people are doing lots of things around him and they're not telling him. I can see a little bit through Aegon's eyes how it looks like they're trying to do stuff without him. And
he's alone. The only one that loves him is his dragon.
Pretty much.
Well, if we saw the other episode, so does his wife, his sister. So yeah, it's all good. But and not trying to argue that point. The scene where he's in the war council and he tells mommy later, he says, "They're not listening to me. They're not, they don't believe in my any word." He does get mad before by saying, "Why am I not being told this? Why am I not what you're conspiring with Cole?" So he is really, really unhappy about that. And then he says, "Harrenhal." And it's like the little kid pounding, "I want to go to Chuck E. Cheese. I don't want to go to McDonald's. I want to go."
I thought for sure that's where he was going to take Sunfire.
But here's the thing. I think at that point he realized that Cole And Aemon, especially Aemon, is a much better leader than he'll ever be. He has the confidence and the intelligence to do it. And I think that's what bugged him the most.
Well,
When
we
he
saw
hated
that,
his brother.
Liz. We saw that in the last episode
Yeah, I
where
know.
he looked in the mirror and he evaluates himself, and then at the very end, he's like, "Screw it, I am who I am."
Yeah, but I
He
think this
continues on.
episode almost did a little bit of not an about face, but even a deeper pissed offness.
I get that. Yeah.
Did
Like
any of
driven
y'all
home a little
notice
more.
that when Aemond and Aegon were talking in High Valyrian, on the
Oh.
left side of the table, all the councilmen, like Lord Tylan, the Grand Maester, and whoever the other guy was there, they look back and forth just to hear what words are being said, but they don't understand it. But when Aegon looks towards Lord Larys isn't doing the same things that the others are doing. I'm wondering if he can understand it and he's pretending not to.
He can.
I did not catch that. I did catch the Lord Laris. I did not catch the other three bozos. Yes, I knew that they misunderstood or that they didn't understand. And I also noticed that Aemon speaks perfect
Not better.
Yes.
or better, and he does not, because even in the in the way he was speaking, you could see it in the subtitles. It was
Only
almost like
6 words.
yeah.
Wasn't there like a season 1 episode where somebody was trying to teach him Valerian and he was like being a prat about
That
it?
was Jaehaerys.
Oh,
Jaehaerys, Lord. That was
But here's
Jace.
the thing: Aemon
I
paid more.
can't keep all these characters straight in this show.
Aemon
I can't
paid
either.
much more attention to his lessons in the High Valyrian
Mm.
than Aegon ever did.
He
And that's
respected
why.
his history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He would have made a better king, for sure, between
Mhm.
the two.
Oh, easily.
He would have been, yeah.
You know, and the fact that Aegon is sitting there just being bored out of his mind, supposedly. I think it was that he was realizing. Yeah.
Thanks, Roger.
Oh, sorry, Liz. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Liz.
No,
I
no,
just
no. I was reading.
signaling.
I was reading it too. Yeah, no, I was reading it too.
Yeah, I
But
missed
no. I lost my train of thought now. But
it.
that's
I'm sorry,
okay.
Liz.
No, that's okay. You distract me all the time. It's a good thing.
It's a good distraction. So what's next, guys? What else? What else did you like about the episode?
Going back to the very beginning, Damon, when he was arguing with Rhaenyra as a young kid, it was wonderful to see Millicent yet again, 2 consecutive
Mhm.
episodes, and she is speaking to him in High Valyrian, and it's muffled. I don't think he ever understands. When she gets close, it's a little clearer, and I think he says something to the effect that I don't understand.
Yes.
And then she says something to him which he clearly gets, and then we see Mace Windu going to town on Jango Fett. I mean, it was instant. I
All
was
because
a
your
bit
brother
surprised by
loved
that.
me more than he did you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if that had nothing to do with the throne. I almost wonder if that had to do with family love. You know, I've always wanted you to love me. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted you to love me and respect me. Instead, you poured all of this love into your daughter instead of me, who I've been with you longer. I think it was twofold. The crown, yes, was definitely part of it, but I think the other part had to deal with much farther back.
This is why I think Damon is going off the deep end. And I want to thank you again for the notes, because I did catch this, Hope. Remember, he chops the head off of Millicent, of Rhaenyra. He wakes up, and if you look very carefully, there is blood. He sees blood on his hands. He's already awake when he's being awakened that a raven has arrived. And then he looks again, and it's very subtle because it's from a different angle. The blood's gone. So I think he's starting to go a little quackers. You know, it's starting to
I
happen.
think
All the
Alice is
stress,
playing with
everything.
him.
Oh, she's playing with him big time.
Oh, that was absolutely awesome. And if you guys want to get to that, we can get to that. But if we continue, he says there's a raven, and Sir Simon Strong enters in chambers and says, "Good morning, Your Grace." And as I said, there's been a raven, and he tells them Aegon's army has departed King's Landing a fortnight ago. Very good, Greg. And the castles Rosby and Stokeworth, I never would have written that down, have fallen without siege. They fell without siege. They've raised Aegon's banner and added their levies to Sir Criston Cole's host. Both houses cited that said business with the usurper son in their declarations. Now his army is triple in strength. And guess what, Damon? It's coming to Harrenhal! So, like, even if you can raise a host of vermin, they will but not be ready in time to face him. Damon looks off into an empty room and sees a black goat. Oh, yeah, when they were walking.
Ah,
Okay,
that
go.
was bizarre. No,
Okay.
it seemed, you know,
It was
it
ominous.
seemed like one of those things that they wouldn't have added if it didn't mean something.
Exactly.
Yeah. First, we all deserve a slap if we didn't see that. But in our context, in our lives, a black goat with those types of horns, that's deep into our mythology, folks. That is not only evil, it is diabolical. And we could go on and on, right, Lord Gregor, on the imagery of that, but it is still
It wasn't evil in ancient Sumeria. It was just a representation.
okay. Fair enough. But in the other 15,000 years of recorded history, it's evil for the most part. But thank you for educating us on that one. I appreciate
Maybe 1500.
I just assumed it was Alice in goat form because she's always wearing all black and the goat was all black.
I have a feeling she's got something to do with those the spirits that were
In
people.
Harrenhal.
Oh, definitely.
Weirwood's getting
She's
chopped down.
she's super old. She says that though, that she's been there forever. She knows the stories about how the first stone was laid, and that's when all of the hauntings
She could be a
started.
ward.
She's definitely like the red lady from the last season. I mean, the last
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Red Witch.
Melisandre.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's
She's
right.
very much like her.
Reminds me of her as well. Yes.
Do you think, from the other one, do you think that might be a descendant?
I think it's something separate, but I think it's something that ties back into like the fairy tale world of like the White Walkers, the fairy children.
Oh,
I forget what they're
yeah.
called.
Raven, and yeah, I agree.
I think
Hope.
they all coincide. It starts with dragons and their magic, and they can only continue if there are dragons alive. Without dragons alive, their magic dies and dwindles.
Here's, yeah.
Yeah,
What you
because I mean,
mentioned-
she gave Damon something a little bit more than something to help him sleep.
Yeah.
A little bit stronger than chamomile tea.
Yeah. Also think about the bed that he's sleeping on. It's from
Yeah,
one of
made
those
out of
ancient
weirwood.
trees. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they talked about
So.
that. Everything around him is now the goat standing there, being in black. We all know what connotations are in black in our society. There was also wood there. Could it be that he represents that there's going to be a sacrifice, or only he sees it? Is you know, in Judeo-Christian history, sacrificing a goat? You know, it happens. I don't know if that has any alliteration. I doubt it, but that's the feel that I got out of it, that it was something evil and it had to do with death. That's what I got. Now,
Like a
Rocker says
sacrificial lamb, but a goat.
something like that, a sacrificial lamb, yes. Not necessarily that he's being led there, but he is the one. It seems like Alice is feeding Daemon's dark side to claim the throne over Rhaenyra. Daemon may be realizing that by challenging Rhaenyra for the throne, he inadvertently dishonors his brother's wishes. Oh, that's deep, Rockers. I didn't go there.
Yeah,
Guys?
Alice is going to soon become, one of those minor characters that drives the story. I think.
Yeah. I agree.
Really, Lord Gregor? You know, I want to throw this one to Michael. The first time they meet, what does she say to him? You're gonna die here, dude. I was like,
Damon just completely dismisses her, and he's like, "Oh well, okay, keep going."
yeah, I'm being a jerk, Lord Gregor. It's the first thing. I love what she tells him a little bit later, where she says, "I am an owl, a house
Yeah,
owl or
A barn
whatever,
owl.
dropped
a
into
barn owl."
human
Yes,
form.
and
Dropped
her
into human form,
speech.
which makes me wonder. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Arthur, but the
No.
way she said that I'm a barn owl or whatever, trapped in human form, makes me almost wonder. Okay, he's taking that as a joke, but is she being serious? Is she some sort of a witchy spirit?
Yeah,
I wonder if
that's
there
what
was a
Damon
barn
is
owl
supposed to do.
somewhere throughout the other season that we didn't notice.
Not Harry Potter.
I
No,
I don't
no
know.
Hedwig.
Well, okay, the way I took it, the way she said I'm a barn owl, is how many times, and no insult to anyone, but it's the first thing that comes to mind when someone says, that's a cougar or that's a lion or that's a fraidy cat. That's kind of the way I took it, that they have those things, and she's a barn
Characteristics.
owl.
Okay.
Yeah, characteristics. What did you think about that, Michael?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was dealing with something else that I was telling everybody beforehand.
Yeah, so am I.
I know. But
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I was looking at Liz.
it's a guess.
So the owl is on the arm of House Martin.
Hmm.
3 owls are on the arms of House Garner. One of the named hours is called Hour of the Owl. Skin changers who have entered the minds of owls can lose their connection to Earth and instead only want to fly. The sharp-eyed Mia Stone likes to say her mother was an owl. So that's from the Wiki of Ice and Fire.
I'll be back.
Oh. Okay. Do you catch what Ruckers is saying? The owl is held in reverence in Satanism. I didn't know that.
Didn't either.
Really?
Owls were light.
Yeah, I thought they were light and goodness.
Yeah, in Wicca, the idea of wisdom, the wise old
Yeah,
owl.
exactly.
That came from Gaelic traditions. Interesting.
One
Yeah.
of my best friends is Wiccan, and that's what she's always told me.
Alice reminds me of the female version of Lord Laris. She
Yeah.
seems to know everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
but
she's
I
constantly
think she's a
messing with
war. I
people.
think she's a skin chain. I think she's. I think she was
Skinwalker?
serious when she said she was an owl.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too.
That's the vibe I'm getting, guys. That's the vibe. Along with that, with the timbers, the way they were splayed on, and having the goat, seriously, and then the owl. I appreciate that, rockers. They represent the seeing eye at night. Interesting. That I did not know. I want to go back a little bit to the conversation where the Tully grandson shows up. It was great. And I thought it was a bit unfair that Damon, he is a Lord, Liege, Grace, whatever, in his 50s now. And I get it. He says, well, my time is short, but, I need an army. So, he says, but, okay, yes, sir, but I represent the family. It's like, yeah, but is your Liege still alive? He says, yes. My dad's dead, but my grandfather, he'd raised me like a son. But I cannot do anything without him. He says, then, well, why am I talking to you? That is,
He told him to
I
smother
wouldn't
him with a pillow.
I
Well,
know,
that
you
was
heard- you
that
play
was
it
like
along.
I can't believe he said that.
He said,
You know, I
why
was-
don't you smother him with a pillow and speed up your inheritance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did
I
say that.
actually was
didn't
thinking that was actually probably a proper thing to do at that point. Put the old guy out of his misery, just smother him, get on with it, and then, I'm sorry, I have a dark mind at times.
And maybe I should not have gone back to that. Jeez.
No, probably not.
Yeah, I should not have.
No, you should not.
But that was still kind of, I gotta admit, it was. So, and then he goes off, he gets angry, and he's like, well, you can't control what's going on, with this family, that family, and who, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He
The
doesn't even know
Blackwoods, the
which ones.
Brackens.
Yeah, and they tell him, and he says something to the effect of, whatever, whichever one. It's bad. So, I thought it was, that was kind of funny. So Lord Simon replied to him, it has House Bracken that declared green, your grace. And he says, who could remember? Summon the Blackwoods here. I require men of action to lead my host of rivermen. That was kind of funny. Now, I do appreciate that little touch with Sear Strong and Tully Jr., where, he gives him a little bit of like a tap on the shoulder or something. There was a little bit of a smile back. It's like, it's okay, son. I get it. Don't worry about it. This guy's a jerk.
I
That's
about
the way
fell
I
out
took
my
it.
chair when Damon looked at Lord Grover and was like, I looked at Simon and said, Lord Grover's looking more hale and healthy than I expected.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I don't know if he thought he was still in that dreamlike state, or I don't know.
No, I
He's
think
like-
it was just Damon being Damon and flippant.
It was funny though.
Yes, it was. Right after that, we did have the scene where Rhaenys goes to talk to Corlys, and she basically tells him, look, in addition to Alan and, this kid's... I, at first time, because I've seen it twice, I thought Corlyn was saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because she put his hand on his face.
Mm-hmm.
But she was holding him because she was focusing. Because we know she's like, dude, this guy's got your genes. So,
To be
this is
fair, I
on
didn't know if that went that way. Go ahead.
Simon Strong is a sweet old man. I wonder what he truly thinks of Damon. LOLs. His very first line, where he walks in and says,
Loyal.
"I have seized Harrenhal." It appears you have.
Okay.
Yes.
If you had not
and-
noticed, you are welcome here.
Yeah, so he's all right. I mean, he's a sir. He knows he's not going to get wasted unless he's really stupid. But he can answer back. But he's not. He's a lord and he's a grace. So I can't believe I just said that right now. But we have the conversation that continues, and then we see that the queen is what she's playing with the dragon figurine.
Yeah,
Yes, the
yeah,
one that-
figurine.
Okay.
The one that broke.
Oh, and then she
that
drops
she
it
had
again, right?
mended. Yeah.
Oh, it broke
I think
again,
so.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, good repair job, Allison. Or fire the people that did it for you. Of course, the moment is interrupted by by a knock from the Grand Maester, and this was to terminate the pregnancy. She drops the figurine, but quickly picks it up and greets him. Allison claims she will discreetly deliver the tonic to the girl, although we all know. And I'm glad that the Maester didn't sure. He wasn't sarcastic. He knows. When does the
Yes.
Queen
He takes
Dowager
no
get to go out?
interest in that stuff, though.
Yes,
Unlike the
but
other council members.
and I'm so glad that we didn't get bad story writing and stuff where we get that unapproving look or whatever that kind of like is dealing. No, this guy's. There you go.
Very professional. Okay.
I'll get it to the girl. It's like, all right, anything else? It's just let's go. But she does ask before he leaves, Grand Maester, you've ever been a practical man, an honorable servant to the crown, and you served my lord husband in his darkest hours. Such was my duty, your grace. Do you believe Viserys wanted Aegon to succeed him? I could not know. His grace never raised the matter with me. Then, of course, she's looking down at the tonic, and then, when she's like, whatever, I knew she was expecting when she put her hand, and you could see what kids today call the baby bump, right? You could see.
Mhm.
I
And
don't think
yes,
that was apologizing by touching, at least for me as a mother, that would be having some connection to the baby and almost apologizing to have to end its life, even though it needed to be done. For me as a
in
mother, that's what I felt.
in the world of Game of Thrones, what happens to the Queen Dowager if
Yeah.
even though there's only a few weeks after her husband died, Lord knows, everyone knows, there was nothing going on. What would happen to her in the world of Game of
She'd
Thrones? And
have,
nothing really.
she'd have kids
Well,
like
the only
Rhaenyra.
one, yeah, the only one we have to compare it to would be Cersei.
And Cersei didn't give a hoot at all.
Nope.
Okay, but now we're actually trying to say something like, "Hey, Kirk, solve this problem that Picard solved in the future." Cersei's 200 years in the future.
Well, I'm just saying, culturally, I don't know as if we have much to compare it to. I don't recall the books touching on it.
Okay, fair enough.
The other thing is
Um,
Cersei is not Allison
No.
at all. Entirely different personalities.
No.
Like you said,
And for a
Cersei
while,
can give a
for a few weeks anyway, I mean, her father was still Hand.
Plus, Alicent had the brown red hair, and if she lay with Kristen Cole, her children would not have Viserys's blonde hair or white hair. So they would
Yep.
immediately know, just like she knew that Rhaenyra's kids were not for Laenor.
No.
Yeah, her two kids had black hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they knew that from the get-go. That was funny. Yeah.
No,
All right,
who-
fair
I
enough.
think about Bela telling one of the councilmen when he told her she should have burned them all, and she's like, "Well, you can go do that next time you get on your dragon."
yeah.
Yeah, but she in the last episode, I thought in the last episode they said, she says, "Hey, ma," or I was obeying orders, not engage. Now, on an off topic, last week to this week, how many of you spent a little bit of time on the internet and saw the memes of her actually burning up the forest with the soldiers?
Yes.
That was funny. This week, it was the meme of there were forest fires everywhere. Michael, did you catch any of those? I did. Oh, sorry. You didn't catch off guard, brother.
I did not. No, I did not.
I've been
Okay.
good with social media. I didn't catch any, actually.
It was
Um,
all over TikTok as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see the one that Liz posted with the 3 dragons name for the
Well,
boys.
Actually, I had one slightly different. Hope helped me change.
What was it?
The one with
I put an
Eamon
eye
because I
patch
had
on
him
it.
in his eye.
Oh, it didn't have a patch because when I eventually saw, they looked the same.
No.
Here we go. They all looked alike.
Just a regular dragon. One had a silly face, one had a serious face, and the other one had a less serious face. And I just went and I slapped an eye patch on Eamon.
Oh, okay. I like it. It was
Yeah.
good. Every week there's a meme of what happens, and this last one was about that, so it was good. In the next scene that comes up, we see Bela and Jace and Princess Rhaenys discussing the war strategies with the council, and that's where they start. Kristen Cole is taken to exploiting the tree cover to conceal its movements. He now only travels at night to confound our dragons. And they say, "And what is Cole's heading?" Of course, Bela says it's difficult to say, but there were signs of an army moving northwest, I believe. Gorman Massey chuckles. She believes. See, now that is an old man talking to a kid right there. And I don't understand that. It's like, she's out on the front lines, moron. And
She
you're
also
being a
holds
jerk
a
to
higher
her.
title than them.
Yes, she
By
does.
the way, I forgot about yeah. So I don't get that. She
It was
believes
just like them dissing her niece until Corwin walked in.
They don't
Yeah.
respect women, the older ones.
they don't respect and they
It-
don't
it
respect
seemed
Jace either.
more. It didn't. It seemed too forced. I mean, it seemed overwritten for them to be doing that.
Okay, that's fair. So in the other scene where the maester didn't respect, didn't make a scene about the terminating the pregnancy, over here they did it. So okay, all right. I would go with that, Lord Gregor. Because look, I know they're frustrated that she's disappeared, but she should have left someone in charge. Rhaenyra messed up. She comes back later, gives her excuses, but they're pissed because they're at each other's throats.
Well, it would have been
She didn't
Rainey's.
even confide in Corlys.
Yeah.
Well, but again, we live in in a man's world, even here in Game of Thrones, because they sarcastically tell her, "What? You have the same weight that we all have here." They gave her lip too, and Rainey's
She
is
doesn't trust
respected.
her council people.
Yeah. So after he
We're
says,
also all getting stressed out too because of what's going on in the Riverlands.
I mean, look, they basically haven't even moved yet, and they're already forming an army that's 3 times the size that it was before. So they were in 1 man, now they're up at 3, but still, that's 3 more than where the other guys are. She says, "You should have burned them when you had a chance, and perhaps you can, Sir Alfred, when you next see them on your dragon." Of course, Rainey's guy has a good smile for her, and she's really happy about that, which is really cool. And then Jay
Good
says the only
around.
reason we know of this is because of Bela's efforts. So even, he's like, all the attitude you want to give, she's the only one that's out there, dude. Shut up, man. And then they add, "What do we know, my prince? If you ask me, it is little and less." And then Princess Rainey asserts, "We know that Cole possesses a host that is growing in strength, and it is a problem." And then it says, "Can Damon hope to meet it with his own in time? And if I know the Riverlands, he has more disentangling ahead of him than any of the Lyseni orgy."
Lysini orgy.
Lyseni orgy. I got
I
that.
had to look that up. Yeah.
You know what? I like it.
Good time.
Yeah. He has more disentangling ahead of him than the end of a Lyseni orgy. I was like, okay, I don't know what that is, but when you finish off with orgy, I'm like, okay, I get it. That's a hassle. I can see that. Have you heard word from your father? Bela responds, no. And ravens were sent to Harrenhal seeking news of Damon's progress with the Riverlords, and none have returned yet. Sir Alfred Broom states, just so. An enemy host growing in constitution marches somewhere in the vastness of the Crownlands. We could perhaps act if only we had a host of our own, or someone here to lead us. Jacaerys quickly corrects him. Mind your tongue, Sir Alfred. And then he says, does it speak falsely? I love it when he says,
Yep.
watch your tongue, dude.
So side.
Oh, is my tongue giving you attitude? I mean, basically, we translated it today. It was almost like that. My prince, does it speak falsely? This council is rudderless. Rainey's responds, I'm doing my best to steer it, Sir Alfred. Sir Alfred stands up and challenges, why should your voice be any louder than ours? Princess, the queen did not name you, Hand. And it is her voice and that of the king consort that we need to raise alliances and command our vessels, but they are gone. And at that moment, homie walks in. I don't mean that derisively. I mean the man walks in. I mean the hand of the king. What has come of this council? Our enemy is on the march. Is there not to be done in the absence of the queen but to grasp and claw for power? And then Rainey's adds, we do not know the queen's doings, but we must trust that she seeks the same as each of us at this table and end to this conflict. Does Rainey's know what she set out to do? Okay.
She's the one that told her she should
Told her to do it.
read the letter, but I don't think she knows she went there, but I think she figured that's where she was going.
Rockers, I'm sorry. I missed several comments. Seems like Allison is starting to ponder the truth Rhaenyra revealed to her, especially when she knows her son is a moron.
Oh yeah.
Well, she calls him a moron. I think in that scene about the books, I'm sorry I missed that one, Rockers. That was good. Also, Sir Alfred was talking smack about Lys's Mysaria was lurking in the shadows. Oh, that's the scene. That's when it happened. Okay. So
She was part of the council though now. Why wasn't she at the table?
At the count. Yeah, I wondered that myself.
I wonder if she's an official part of the council or not. I mean, I think Rhaenyra recognizes that she has insight, and kind of asks her to pay attention to going. So,
I thought she was dressed in something that was symbolic at the end of the last episode after she asked to be placed on the council. Was she not, Liz?
oh, I was just thinking that was fun. She finally got new clothes after
Yeah,
however
I was.
many hours she was after she got off the boat and was in prison.
I was just thinking she got new clothes with a little bit of a higher station, but
Yeah.
because of her title that she was made basically the Council of the Whisperers, why is she sitting on the council where she can hear everything instead of lurking around the shadows trying to figure out things to report back?
Well, also maybe I don't know. This is just conjecture. We don't have anything to prove by it, but maybe she was directed to be stealthy because maybe there would be things that people wouldn't say in front of her that
Exactly.
they might say to each other.
Exactly.
Yes, I like that. Yes, I agree with that.
She kind of reminds me of Tyrion's Corazon as a character.
Shay.
Shay, yeah.
Well, we know how that ended up.
Yeah, we do.
Yep. Creature of opportunity. But anyway.
There's another comment in the chat room. My Sarah deserves to be at council. Don't know how they would play out with Damon there. Oh, that'd be very, very interesting. Yes.
Well, we also don't know who else in whatever the capital city is called. It escapes me at the moment. Who else dealt
King's
with
Landing?
her? Yeah, who else in King's Landing had she had dealings with?
I think she had dealings with almost everyone. I mean, she ran the house, right?
Yeah.
Everyone spills their secrets there. And remember, if you have something over someone, they start spilling the secrets on the other people. So, yeah. In the next scene that happened, we get what's left of the battle, the fallen soldiers of, I believe it's Darkland, and it's over. And he says, men of Darkland, all who bend the knee to the true King Aegon will be spared. You can earn back your honor by raising his banner and fighting. None of them have made their decision yet until he brings out the Lord of Darkland.
Lord Darkland.
Lord Darkland. Thank you.
Darkland.
And he's answering back. He says, good morrow, Lord Darkland. Is there no honor left in this world, Cole? Sacking your queen's own castles and putting her people to the sword? Kingmaker. He spits at Cole's feet before kneeling at the beheading stone. You're not fit for the white cloak, he declares. This is a better death than a traitor deserves. You should thank me for it. As Lord Darkland's position for beheading, he warns, yours will come in kind, pal. And of course, in anger, Cole just, he thinks about it for a moment, and he makes his blade true. And just does it.
I thought he was going to kick the head off the cliff for a second. Did anyone else?
Oh, I was wondering if he's going to do something like that. Yeah.
Well, the last time an actor kicked a head, he broke a few bones. I think that was in the Lord of the Rings, but those were fake, but that's okay. So maybe he learned his lesson. I don't know. Of course, as soon as he's walking away, another soldier or knight hands him a little towel. Yes, Lord Darkland went out like a soldier. Pour one out. Yes, Lord Darkland. This one is for you. Forgive me. I don't want to gurgle. I was going to say that was a good one, but that would have been rude. But I just said it, so it still was. I'm sorry. Then he wipes the blade, and then a squire comes up to him and hands him a note. And he says, okay, all right. He learns some information from Aemon, and then he meets Sir Gawain, and he says, all right, we got to go. Van northeast, follow the coastline. He says, I realize you were neither born nor bred anywhere near the Crownlands, my good Lord Anne, but Harrenhal is to the west. Indeed it is. And he continues writing off. You know what? That is cool. All right. You know, that was well done.
Sir Gawain's
And-
not used to being a pawn. He's used to making others his pawn. So that's very unsettling for him to not have any idea of what he's being led into.
Yes.
But one of the things that didn't sit right with me in that is they have a host that's comprised of a bunch of different houses. And in order for everybody to be on the same page, you need to communicate that down.
Yeah.
So it seemed odd to me that, unless he expected the soldiers that Gawain had brought with him, shouldn't know what's going on. It just seemed odd that, they wouldn't know what direction they were going to be marching in the next day. But anyway, it's, there's
It's hard
dragons.
to trust who's leading you when you have no idea what they're
Right.
doing.
Going on.
And they're being sneaky and snide and cunning, and you just don't know what to do with that because you're looking at these people. They're supposed to care about your well-being, want you to succeed, and you're just being led possibly to your death.
Well, and the other thing is the more recent members of that host were essentially conscripted as a sword.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
here's the thing too. I think the reason they kept it so secret was because it's very simple. Loose lips sink ships. They
Yeah.
kept it in a very tight inner circle, only letting you who needed to know. And then you get your orders to march that morning, and that's where we go. And
Yeah,
those
I
that
also
are already kind of in the plan already know.
I also feel like not only does Cole disrespect Gawain, but I don't really think he respects Allison.
Oh, he
Oh,
doesn't.
no, he doesn't. He figures he's won on that one because the Queen Dowager has no other option anyway. I'm sure there may be some other comely soldiers that are there, but then you're starting to risk. Allison is a god. Wait, how many gods are a god's
Even
fearing
God.
person? There it is. She's a god's fearing person. So she believes she has sinned. She there is an honor to her. Doesn't she tell that to to Rainier a little bit? Look, I may have been a little wench to you from time to time, but I was always truthful. So there is a little bit of honor in her. And she is a believer in the gods. She believes she has sinned. So
I think
I
she's
don't know.
losing her face little by little.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
slowly.
Yeah, but is it the sin of Cole or the sin of allowing her father to push her towards Viserys?
I think it's all of it.
I think she's come to the. I think she's worked through that she was married off.
Yeah.
I think it took her a long time to realize what exactly happened because she was so young when it all started, when her dad
Yeah.
threw her into the chamber. It wasn't until the marriage was offered and accepted that she realized what her father had made her do and what she was going to become.
Actually, in one of season 1 episodes, didn't Laris kind of allude to something of that effect?
A little bit.
I don't know. I didn't rewatch them.
Yeah, I haven't either. I do want to take a quick moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're now in the second hour here on House of the Dragon review here on NDB Media, Trekking Across the Universe. Thank you for joining us. We do have quite a few people watching. Let us know who you are and where you hail from. Feels kind of cool. Aisha, thank you for joining us. Elizabeth Olivia Cooper, thank you. Peter Gama and Sonia Robles, thank you for the likes. We do appreciate that. As we continued on the next scene, we get where Aegon is in the council room and he is distressed. There's no doubt about it. And it's F you, F this, all this stuff. I told you should have sent our dragons, and now look what's happened. Damon, of all people, has taken Harrenhal. And then he looks over to Sir Larry.
Lord
And he
Larry.
says, I gave you a job, and now you just sit there? It's your effing castle! And of course, as well. And it was well delivered when he said that. So, well, that castle is more crippled than I am, Your Grace. It's like to drive Damon to madness as he attempts to make use of it. It is beyond his faculties. It's also penniless, as I happily control all of its gold. So, as Harrenhal, sorry, I lost my place. Saps Damon's resolve. The false queen remains trapped on her island, and Sir Kristen continues felling castles in the Crown Lands. And before I do forget, I do want a quick comment that the plan by Cole was actually smart, because the obvious target is Harrenhal, but instead they go for this little rock. But the problem is the little rock is right across the bay. It's like a little too close. Whether it cuts them off from the rest of the land, that's what the plan is, they don't see it that way. They see it as, whoa, this is way too close to home. And it worked.
Don't you think he did that intentionally?
Yes.
To
Hi, Cynthia.
Out,
oh, yeah.
To draw out the dragons?
Yes.
One of them?
But
Yes.
also, it was to make fun or make jest of the councilman that owns that castle.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a councilman that is, a councilman
On
on
Rhaenyra's
Rhaenyra's court. Yes. So, Aegon, he's baffled by how little he's been told, states, I need to be informed of these things if I'm to make informed rulings. I'll not be made to look a fool in front of my allies and enemies. And then Aemon interjects, Harrenhal must wait. Sir Kristen is marching on Rook's Rest. Rook's... And that's a pathetic prize! I gave no such command. Aemon moves toward the battle map, saying the castle is small and weakly defended, and Lord Staunton sits on Rhaenyra's council. After Cole smashes it, we'll have Dragonstone effectively cut off by land. This war will not be won with dragons alone, but with dragons flying behind armies of men. No! I have to turn about. No, have him turn about. I want Harrenhal back. Aemon dismisses Aegon's order and walks back to his chair, saying, Cole is already preparing the attack. Aegon's like,
He's so confused.
how
he is,
do you
completely.
know this? He sent me word.
I love how the council just, all their heads just turn in unison towards Aemon, like, you did what?
Yes. And then he says, to you? The council, seeing unusual change of community, turns their attention to Aemon. So they let go of Aegon and turned it to him. The two of you have been plotting without my authority. Aemon, with no concern for his brother's authority, speaks in High Valyrian. You had more pressing matters to attend to, such as holding court, choosing your sobriquet, and naming imbecilic lickspittles to your king's guard. I love that line, lickspittles.
As proven by the one that's behind Aemon at the time.
Oh
He
yeah,
had
because
his
even
armor.
later,
And did you see the look
One just
of the
fiddling
fool?
with his armor.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
that was so funny. I thought that was great. You didn't have to understand what lickspittle is to just see it. Oh my goodness, that was funny.
I wonder if the poor guy was even credited as Lickspittle White Kingsguard or something.
None of them speak Targaryen.
Sir Lickspittle.
That
No,
one was
but
funny.
his the credit in the. 'cause I
Oh,
mean,
very good, like blood and cheese, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So
Oh,
hello, Cynthia from Cerritos.
Where is
Yes.
Cerritos? Hi, Cynthia.
Cerritos is in what some people would call the gateway cities of of LA County. It's to the southeast of LA County, near Long Beach, near Orange County.
Okay.
She's in a very posh part of town.
See?
So I would ask Cynthia, why are you slumming it with us today? But it's all good.
That's also the
I'm,
name of the ship in Lower Deck.
by the way, that's right. It is the USS Cerritos from Lower
It is.
Decks. Yeah. I'm sure she'll type up an answer right now. She's actually a big fan of House of the Dragon. As a matter of fact, a few of the memes that I was commenting about earlier, I saw them on her, or she sent them to me. I forget, but yes. Oh no, she didn't send it to me, but I think I did see it on her page. So I said, "Hey, do you know we're doing a program?" So, um, well, I'm glad you're laughing at that, young lady, on all the stuff that I said. So he says, "So do you have a wiser strategy, my king? If so, you should voice it to your council. We all await your answer." And of course, he was struggling with the High Valerian replace. I can have to make war.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was funny.
I literally rewound that like 5 times for that phrase. It's like I can't be reading what I think I'm reading.
Like he did it so slow, my brain
I
couldn't
know.
even function what he
It's
was
like he was
saying.
He was thinking about either the next words he was going to say or the question he has to go to war. He's thinking, am I going to be making a war?
Rockers of Los Angeles says High Valerian is beautiful, and I have to admit that oftentimes in movies and TV we need to see, or I'd say not we, but do you notice how when they're speaking another language, it's obvious it's not their primary language. It's rare when they speak it what seems to be like fluent. He does.
Greek
Amen.
and Latin rockers.
So okay, it's based off Greek and Latin. Huh? You mean Mr. George R.R. Martin didn't write the language?
He was sampling of the Greek and Latin languages.
Oh,
It was
Oh.
a created language, but he wanted to know where they came from.
well, Cynthia, join us, and if you'd like to join us live, young lady, let me know. I will be more than yeah. Look at Hope over there. I say that to actually to the only people that did not receive that invite about join us live would probably be Greg. I think
So
he's
how
the
did he
only
get
one
here?
that he's the only one that's never received that invite from me, because even Michael received that invite, right, Michael?
Well, why wouldn't you give me that?
Well, are you muted,
No.
Better
Michael.
asleep, but he's moving.
Michael? Are you talking to someone? Oh, he's talking to someone. He doesn't hear us.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
back.
yeah, he's trying to arrange guests, I believe.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm here.
well, I'm glad that you're online doing that. That's pretty good.
Well,
He's
Now we
multitasking.
multitask, Roger.
Oh, he answered us now. I'm sorry. What was that, Michael?
I said I had to because I had gone all day and I had lots of emails I had to deal with quickly. So I can get
Yeah.
fun guests for this show.
I don't understand what that means, but I appreciate that.
Of
Well,
course you
look,
don't.
Cynthia said I needed more friends who watch House of Dragon. So she's part of the family now. I invited her to join us. And Michael, I said that Greg is the only one that has probably never received that invite from me on air, because Michael got that invite from me as well, didn't you? Where I said, why don't you join me?
I don't remember. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's all right. It was. Why don't you join me on air? Rocker says, thank you, Hope.
So I have an
That's right.
answer-
Rockers was here before you were on with us, Hope. Yeah.
So I
So
have
you
an-
already got the
I
thing.
have an answer for Rocker on the language. And I'm not taking credit for it. This is from Google. And now I guess AI is answering by default. So it's a constructed language created by linguist David J. Peterson. Peterson was inspired by real languages like Swahili and Russian and built Valerian from scratch, complete with grammar and rules. I also have a note from another result that says the Valerian language is fictitious, but is based on Latin and Greek. I do hear Latin roots in it, or at least the cadence sounds very Latin, if you ever attended Mass in Latin. So I would say it's probably a combination of all of those.
You know, I would have to tell you, I probably would have caught that, Greg, but my brain has been fried for the last day. I just heard what they were saying. It didn't register. I was trying to see if I could catch the sarcasm reading the words, and I went back to listen. So I wasn't, but I don't recognize it, which is really cool. The whole Targaryen language.
It just amazes me when some like these fantasy authors can do that, like Tolkien and
Tolkien, dude, set the standard, dude.
oh my god, and the guys that came up with the
Yes.
Klingon language, Mark Okrand.
Mark Orkrand, yes, yep.
Oh,
Who was on our program? Yes, and it was an accidental one. When we were doing radio only, we were talking to a guest, and someone had called in from Washington D.C. because I could see the numbers. And if you folks didn't know that, well, sorry, that's the way it works on Blog Talk Radio. We have to know, unless it's completely blocked. So there was a Washington number, and once you went beyond 2 hours, the live feed would cut off, and you can only hear it after the fact. So I invited several people to actually call in, and he did. And this guy was on the entire interview, so I finally went to the person live, but I threatened him. I said, "Sir, you've been listening for the last hour and a half. We're going to go to you right now." And the guy started talking to the author. He was listening to him, and I said, "Sir, would you introduce yourself?" "Yes, I'm Mark Orkrand from..." I froze. I was interviewing a Star Trek guest who was in one of the movies, and I guess did some Klingon. So of all people, it was Mark Orkrand. And I was like, "Oh my gosh! Gia!"
you hope.
Yes, sadly, I do speak Klingon. So that was a swear word in Klingon. So anyway, all right. Right after that conversation, yeah, I had to get one in. So anyway, Eamon then responds in English. Harrenhal is a useful morass. It will keep Daemon well occupied while we strengthen our host and weaken Rhaenyra's support in the mainland. We will deal with it in the Riverlands in time, but right now, Rook's Rest is an easy target and a worthy effort. It says, I think Aemon putting down Aegon in court was contraring for what happened at the brothel, maybe. I think
Absolutely
so.
agree.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yes, it was, but it was him lighting up his brother in his own language. No one
Mhm.
else knew what was going on. They could infer certain things, but he wasn't embarrassing him other than maybe talking down to him. But that's why I went back. I wanted to listen if you could detect any sarcasm or and I didn't get that. Did you guys get that?
There was. Yeah,
In
there
his
was.
speech?
Oh
He was-
yeah.
It might
Yeah,
be hard to
Because he
convey.
was like, "Do you have any better ideas?" The council
Okay,
would
no,
love to hear it.
right. But the intonation in the speech, did you get? I thought he delivered it plain, almost majestic.
You might have been
No.
focusing too much on the pronunciation,
The language.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, again, I've been drinking all day, so what do I know? Of course, he says, Aemon then looks to Aegon, seeing his frustration and feeling belittled. Don't you agree, my king? Aegon, feeling like an outsider among his own family and councilmen, looks around the table, trying not to show his resentment, and sighs angrily to himself. This scene underscores the tension and power struggles within Aegon's council, highlighting Aegon's insecurity and Aemon's growing influence. Lannister and the Maester turning their heads was comedy, yes.
Yeah,
They
it
did
was.
look uncomfortable a few times, but yeah, very good. Yeah.
I was just looking at Laris because he didn't respond the same way they did. So I have a feeling he speaks or understands the language.
Okay. I just got a message. Lord Gregor will be back. I believe there's a sighting of a barn owl, and he's going to investigate.
Alice is floating around.
Did everyone watching the video notice everyone's face online as they were reading the message? They're like, what the hell is he talking about? He said he'll be right back. I just made that up. Anyway, in the next scene, we seen the Queen Dowager in her chambers, and obviously she's not doing very well because of the concoction that she took. And she tries to alleviate her discomfort by placing hot stones from the fire on her lower abdomen. And then Larry Clubfoot. I mean, Laris Clubfoot. It's actually kind of funny if you think about it. Larry. It's just Larry Clubfoot. Enters a room, noticing her distress. Your Grace, thou lookest unwellest. No, just kidding. Your Grace, you look unwell. Is something the matter? He's genuinely concerned because I mean that she's the porn machine. I mean she does things for him. So hey, you're not looking well. Please, I hope you're not gonna.
I need my feet to be available.
Jeez, yeah.
His feet finder's out of touch.
Yeah, no kidding. Allison, attempting to maintain her composure, responds, "You're kind to do so, my lord, but indulgence was my sin. I ventured into the lamprey pie at last night's supper. Too far, I fear." And then, of course, he notices the empty bottle prepared by the Grand Maester. And, knowing that she's spinning a false narrative, says, that is a rich indulgence. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Roger Stone. That is a rich indulgence. But I believe it is a sin to deny your appetites. Where's Greg when you need him? Oh, my goodness.
He's
They
looking
are
That's his
what
way
makes
of letting her
really
know.
alive
Give
is-
me my toes.
Yeah, but I believe it is a sin to deny your appetites. They are what make us fully alive as mortal men. So trying to shift the conversation away from from ailment, Alice says, was anything of note discussed at the council? And Larry begins to explain the meeting. Damon sees Harrenhal and his Grace is displeased. I would have thought that you would be the most aggrieved, my lord. And then Larry says,
Considering
see
it
it
was
as a
his
loss.
castle.
Yeah. I see it as a loss for our greater good. Dragonstone's attentions are greatly divided. First in the Riverlands and the Gullet, and now the Crownlands. Sir Criston wins every challenge he faces there. The truth alone is like to incite Rhaenyra's fury. Sir Criston has covered himself in glory, to be sure. And then Larry is hinting, he says, and you must worry for him, do you not? Your sworn sword on the march, ever exposed to dragons. I get it. Your sworn sword. Okay, very good. Very good, Larry's. All right. Ever exposed to dragons. It is a perilous road. And then she says, Sir Criston is the hand of the king. We should all pray for his victory and safe return. Indeed. If I may be so bold, my queen, you have not seen yourself as of late. Sorry, I was being stupid. Allison, expressing her grief, says, only weeks ago my lord husband was alive. See, there was the line. Only weeks ago the king was alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. It's something where it seems a lot longer. And that's what I was talking about in the last episode, where the time frame, it seems a little off, but that's okay. It's still a good story. And if that's my crime, or if that's my gripe against the episode, that's a good storyteller. I think your timeline's a bit off. I'm like, that's it? That's it? That's actually not bad.
Just a bit.
Rocker said, props for Allison for always trying to hold it together when Larry's walks in. Yes, you're right.
Especially props right now when she's going through the first stages of an abortion with those pains. Definitely props.
Only weeks ago, my lord husband was alive and the realm was at peace. Now I barely had the hours to grieve one tragedy before suffering the next. I regret if I have not been myself. I didn't know that you shared your lord husband's love for the histories, because he's noticing all the books. If not his love, then certainly an abiding interest. Very good, Allison. The voices of history guarded Viserys. He knew his wisdom alone could only reach so far. And then he goes for it. Do you think that is why he changed his mind in the end? And he quickly wondering if Allison may have misunderstood. So he says, no matter how suited he thought Rhaenyra for the crown, the voices of history, as you say, would have told him how the realm would react to her succession. she says it was impossible to know what steered his thoughts in those final hours. Oh, that is the first genuine. She was certain up until she spent time with the knife-toting Rhaenyra. Yeah, she was going to get shanked. Didn't happen, though. And then he continues on. Do you know about his intentions? And Rhaenyra supporters will believe what they wish, and so will Aegon's. The war will be fought, many will die, and the victor will eventually ascend the throne. See, this is now Alicent, the adult, as opposed to Alicent that we saw in the first 6 episodes, as we were talking about 10 minutes ago. She's accepted. She knows. She's like, hey, this is what's going to happen, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
She's come to terms that it's already spun into chaos and there's no controlling it. She can't reel them back in, what's already been set out. It can't be reversed. It can't be stopped.
Yep, can't put the cork back in the bottle.
Isn't that what she said to Rhaenyra at the very end? It's too late.
Yeah.
Yo!
Erica Mizey?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. So, this is good. So what else did you guys want to get to? Because the next scene we have is we're in Harrenhal, and I believe this is where Daemon is moving deeper into the castle. He carries the torch, and we see... Oh, I'm sorry. I have a visit.
Huskers?
Husker just showed up. Yes. I need you to, whoever wants to take over with the notes or the scenes or whatever else, take over for a moment, please. Husker. I'm going to see if I can get her right now. Don't be shy, kids.
The next scene was when the setting in Harrenhal with Daemon. He moves deeper into the castle. He carries the torch. The silence is occasionally broken by indistinct shouting and the rivets of a frog, adding the sense of unease. And then suddenly he runs into Alice Rivers. You want to go ahead with that, Michael?
I'm trying. I think is that when he? I'm trying to remember. Is that when he chopped off her head?
He asked. No. He was talking to Alice, the bastard child at Harrenhal. Daemon asks her who she is her last name Strong.
I've forgotten all that.
So, stepping back though a minute before that, and I know we touched on it just briefly before he got to Alice. Remember, he was going deeper into the castle, basically. Don't forget that he ran into Aemond, but it was actually himself wearing the eye patch, looking. And like I said before, it is definitely, I think, him looking at his own, how he made Aemond, and how Aemond may have looked up to his ferocity, shall we say, and what he is, not necessarily looked up to him as another person, but just him as the warrior and, that kind of thing. And he helped make that. That's why I think he was seeing himself as Aemond. And then we get to Alice.
He even walked like him, though, as he was chasing after the person. And before the person turns around and he sees it's himself, he even walked like Aemond.
He did, and with that shadowy figure that you see going forward, I really did think it was the actor who played Aemond. And when he turned around, it really kind of like, wait a minute, that can't be right. Yes, that's not right.
It could have been. Yeah. You'd be surprised with the technology now they have to just put some. Remember, guys, back in True Lies, back in the 1990s, in Jurassic Park, remember where the young girl, she's jumping up to get away from the Velociraptor, and you could see her face. Mm-hmm. But if you look very closely, it was a stunt woman actually that did the thing. Mm-hmm. They were doing the facials back then. So yeah, on a technical thing, I think they could do that. But I'm not trying to destroy anyone's point of view on this one. In the next scene is where he meets Alice, and she introduces herself as Alice. So, Rivers, a bastard. That's what he says, because a snow is from up north. The bastard from up north is a snow, right? And I forget the others because they do mention them, but
Sand and
rivers.
Dorn.
I'm sorry?
Sand is for Dorn. Bastards
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
Rivers, the Riverlands.
Oh, so is crown for the crownlands? Or just land?
I don't know. Maybe
In
I
the
can-
crownlands, I would figure there are lots of them all over the place, but it's okay. I'm just passing judgment. I'm
I
generalizing.
wonder what they're called on the other side of the wall.
Bastard.
Ings? Is there wildlings?
Things?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'll have to read up a little bit more. So Alice's demeanor is calm. She says, "Once you get to know me, you'll find me. I'm not so bad." So said the spider to the fly. I'm sorry. Of course, she reveals the history of Harrenhal. Talks about the felling of the grove, the weirwood trees, and hey, by the way, Damon, that very bed that you're made of is from that forest.
Yeah.
So sleep fast, buddy. And he says it was made from such a heart tree, hinting at the supernatural whispers that are said to haunt the castle. So Damon, skeptical, dismisses her words as midwife's tale. She continues to probe Damon's psyche, suggesting that he's haunted by his past and his recent quarrels. She hints at his strained relationship with his wife and the pressures of being replaced as heir by a woman, a girl he once bounced on his knee.
That's so disturbing.
Yeah, but did you also notice a comment that she made about, you kind of covered a little bit of it, Roger, but that you're
She did.
here
She
with the
did.
argument. No, you said something about the argument with his wife, but then she also said as evidenced by you didn't send any ravens back when you took Harrenhal.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh, yeah.
All the
You are
ravens
right.
are still there. Isn't that what they said? The ravens were all there.
Yeah.
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 And they mentioned the council. We haven't received anything yet. We've sent some. None have come back yet. And Lord Gregor, thank you, young man. I'm going to post it in the chat room for everyone to see. And once I do so, would you let us know who are the bastards of Westeros?
So this is also from one of the Game of Thrones wikis, which is a collection of crowdsourced information based on the books and other sources. So we have the flowers in the Reach, so that would be where like Lady Olenna was from. Hill in the Westerlands. I don't remember the character that was Hill, but the Westerlands would be like where the Lannisters lived. Stone in the Vale, Storm in the Stormlands.
I do remember that one. And Pike.
So Pike would have been from the Iron Islands. Rivers in the Riverlands, which we learned tonight. Waters in the Crownlands.
Ah, okay.
Ooh.
So when we talked about snow and sand. Of course, we've met both Jon Snow and Illyria Sand.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Very good. I just think that anything in the north, even over the wall, would probably still be snow, but that's okay.
They probably didn't care. They were
probably not.
wildlings.
Well,
But
what
if
was the
you're
guy's
like-
name? I'm sorry. Go,
Right.
Hope.
Missandei, the Isle of North for Game of Thrones, they didn't have marriage, so there were no bastards. I wonder if that kind of happens past the wall.
Okay. Well, there's that guy that was up north. Remember, it was
Raster?
only him. Yeah.
And his wife, daughter.
How many did he
Oh,
have? Like
I
40,
think
50?
I think he
Yeah.
had 50.
Yeah, that was bad.
He was just
Or Craster's cute.
Craster. Yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
He was just, yeah. Ugh. I'm glad he got it.
I'm sorry. I need you to clarify that, please.
Got
Oh,
So said Lord Gregor eating his Doritos.
well,
Maybe he meant getting the Doritos. I don't know.
Right. That's what I
No,
said.
I'm
So
glad
said the man with the
Craster-
Doritos.
I'm glad Craster died because he was a freaking
Thank
creep.
you. Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
when
Understood.
they
Because
avenged
he ate your Doritos.
their leader's death.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my toast to Roger's family here required me to ingest more carbs and starches.
I did.
I
Oh,
toasted
but
your
I thank
family.
you. I
I
thank you
toasted your.
for yes for drinking and eating with me. I will bring
No,
something else right now. It's so hot.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go get some more water right now. But I know that.
that's what I just did when I went downstairs. As I also tanked up. So
Well, that's not what I told everyone, but that's okay. In the rest of this conversation they had, he, Alice's insight into Damon's struggles and her underlying presence provoke him. Do not try me with your insolence, witch. And she remains composed, of course, and she offers him a drink, suggesting that he will need his sleep to win the place to his side. And of course, Damon, reluctantly taking a drink, his mind begins swirling with thoughts of betrayal, ambition, and the heavy burden of his lineage. This interaction underscores the supernatural elements and psychological depths that haunt Harrenhal and its new occupant,
They
Damon.
love newbies.
Oh, yeah, they do. All right. So,
I just love when he starts to come out of that haze and they're at the table and
You
they're
better-
talking and who he sees.
The
well,
last thing
he
you
sees
remember
his
is
wife,
like-
right?
yeah,
That
it
was
was like
Lena, yeah. That was
Yeah,
Lena.
she's serving him wine,
serving
right?
them wine.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that also has to do with the reason he's seeing her is guilt over her death. And I don't really understand why he has so much guilt.
Wait. That who has so much guilt?
That why Damon has as much guilt as he has. It was nothing he could do with it. It was her choice. If she was going to die,
Well, let me
no matter what.
I don't know if with Damon it's guilt in as much as maybe misgivings about the paths that he chose and were
regret.
chosen for him. Yeah,
I think it is
regret.
more regret. The guy's hedonistic, man. There's no guilt, but regret.
He
I can
acts
see
like
that.
he
Yeah.
doesn't care. He
Yeah.
acts like he doesn't care about all these people, that he doesn't care that he didn't get the crown from his brother, that he didn't care Rhaenyra was named, that he didn't care about Lady Lena. But in the end, he does. And
Yeah.
he sees that. And I think that's what we're seeing now as he goes through Harrenhal and goes through his own inner demons
I'll be
in
back.
each
Exactly.
scene.
Exactly.
Because she pursued him, but in the end it was up to him to choose her. And if he wouldn't have chose her, he thought maybe she wouldn't have died in the manner that she did. She may have lived longer, not have died from that pregnancy. I think those thoughts are in his head because he chose his life, but he also inflicted his choices upon the people
Other people.
surrounding him.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
I love
it was really
her.
kind of cool to
Beautiful.
see her.
Rocker's last comment was actually right on. I mean that, as soon as they, tied the thing about the Weirwoods to Harrenhal, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember something about that.
Mhm.
So, in this universe, that curse on Harrenhal is very real.
Yeah.
To be honest, when they said like the ghost of Harrenhal and like the Game of Thrones episodes, I just thought it was like made up stuff that like the people would say happened there, but really didn't. I didn't think it was part of the real like magic that went on later on in the seasons. But now we're seeing, oh, it's real. It's really
Well,
there.
also,
They weren't
Game
exaggerating.
of Thrones introduced all of us to the fantasy aspects of it gradually. Granted, they started, in the very first scene with the zombies, but for the most of the show, it's like, oh, and by the way, dragons are real, and by the way, lycanthropes are real, and by the way, magic is real, and the elves were otherworldly. All I could think of was like the little people in Ireland or leprechauns, and then the White Walkers were something else altogether. Um, so it, and I think that's part of why for me, House of the Dragon doesn't have the same charm that Game of Thrones did, because Game of Thrones introduced us to all of this. And despite the rocky production values of House of the Dragon, you know, there's nothing new that they're really showing us, except the really big dragons.
I think what they're giving us is a backstory of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, no, they are, and
And that's
entertaining
what's
for
needed.
that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. There's a difference in a backstory. For those that know Game of Thrones, I find it interesting that people are keeping their mouth shut on this. Seriously. Everyone knows what happens. Anyone who is a Game of Thrones fan knows they know what's going to happen. We got our first hint of it in the last actually we got several hints in the last episode when Rhaenyra says goodbye to her children. And then when What's-His-Face shows up, actually, I think that was in episode 2 when he shows up at Harrenhal. And Alice, you're going to die here. Okay, so we're getting, sadly, some hints. And I don't want to go anymore because I just don't. Because I don't know. Well, actually, I do. But,
I'm actually tempted to go back and reread.
It's in, I think it's in the 4th episode where they talk about it. And, Joffrey's a jerk about it. He laughs about it when he tells the story.
Mhm.
He actually tells the story.
Yeah, he's walking Marjorie around, giving her a show.
But
so apparently the book delved deeper into this, because when I was looking at the wiki this week, there's a lot of spoilers. So
if you go looking, you're going to find them.
Deeper.
Well.
Yeah, but I've noticed in the community, people are generally keeping quiet. So what I meant to say is when you go back and tell a story of what you always wanted to see, you already know how it's going to end. So it's kind of iffy how you tell that story. When you look at what Star Wars did with Rogue One, all we knew about Rogue One was 2 sentences. That was it. We knew, there was 3 sentences. From a secret base, they launched their first attack, and they captured the plans of the Death Star. That's all we knew, and that became Rogue One. What an incredible story! We know for a fact what is going to happen in House of the Dragon, but remember, they did change things in Game of Thrones. So who's to say they're not going to change things? Right? Hope, go. You're dying over there.
Isn't that kind of similar to kind of like how the end of Game of Thrones when Brienne of Tarth is filling out the thing for Jaime Lannister, and how what's written and what will be known later on in the histories was the first page was he was the king's slayer. He killed his king. That's all people knew. And that's kind of like what we're doing right now. We only knew bits and pieces, but right now we're seeing all the stuff that Brienne wrote about him. Now we're seeing all of the extra stuff that wasn't wrote about or talked about in the Game of Thrones for the House of Dragon characters.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take your comment, Greg, but I would say that I enjoy the story, the intrigue, and it's good, even though I unfortunately know what's going to happen. And we'll see. Look, the Lord of the Rings, they changed the story as well, so who knows?
Well, we know there's going to be a Targaryen king, but what's not clear and hard to find is which Targaryen lineage.
Okay, and that's fair. And I really would not want to be responsible for giving up any more, because I know people are here for the spoilers of the episode, how much of the backstory. I don't know. I would just say that we need to be careful on that. We've already gave up quite a bit already, but we haven't said who
well, the
and what.
clues are in the 5th book. Anybody who's read the 5th book would know them. But I read the 5th book, and I don't remember them.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, look, I want to take a quick station break. Ladies and gentlemen, this is NDB Media, Trekking Across the Universe, House of the Dragon review program. Today is July 8th, 2024. Thank you for joining us. Please let us know who you are and where you hail from. We appreciate the comments, the likes, and subscribes. We need the subscribes. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, please. It helps us out. And that's the magic number, even though we're on our way to 1,000,000. But we got to get to 1,000 first. That would be great. Hey, don't give me that look, Greg. Everything changes at 1,000, so it would really be good. So I do appreciate that. All right, fair enough. We're all back. Well, Lord Gregor is not.
Well, no, he's still doing the Doritos and.
Oh,
like
may
that
I see
cup.
the cup? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you guys know that. Oh, you're a Stark. Yeah, I would generally be a Stark, but this is a Targaryen cup,
Huh?
and it is from Game of Thrones. It's really cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we have 4 of them. When my daughter was working at GameStop, she saw one of these and she goes, "Hey, Dad, look!" And I saw the price. Go get the other 3. Well, she was only able to get 2. She had to search from another store, and then so
Yeah, we
one
got
Thanksgiving.
the house tumblers, but I didn't get those. Those are cool.
They are, let me tell you. And for one Thanksgiving, we did have these on the table. So the only thing that's been in this has always been cider, except for tonight. A little more than cider, but that's okay. Hey, I'm not slurring my speech, so life's good. So, all right.
That's why I'm eating Doritos because my toast to your family earlier did me in a bit.
Yeah, well, unfortunately. Yeah. I just know that it's warmer than most, and I am having a little difficulty because it is warm. There's already my 3rd one today in the last 2 hours. So
Yep.
it's Team Small Folk. Screw all those Royals. I like it. I do.
They all need to
we're
be
good.
voted off the island.
Oh, you're funny. So what else? What else in the episode did you guys want to get to? We've really been spending a lot of time on the episode. What specifically do you guys want to get to? Otherwise, unfortunately, we're still looking at probably another hour, 45 minutes.
Well, as the lore guy, I mean, I love the Harrenhal history piece and getting reminded of that. But as the action geek, I mean, the dragons fighting. We got 2 big dragon fight scenes. It was pretty cool. But there's a lot of blah 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 in this one to move the story forward until the climactic events.
Well, probably a lot of the blah 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 was what they've been doing from day one
Yeah.
with Aegon.
Yeah.
And Larry's did it from the first episode. He was already putting it in his mind that people are. So now, was Larry setting him up to get a position, or was he setting him up and it just worked out what happens at the end of this episode? Or was he trying to score is he genuinely trying to help him?
Maybe. I don't know. I think Larys is trying to help himself more than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike is thinking it through. Liz has something to say, and Hope is like. So,
One of the twins were in here.
oh, that is cool. So it would have been the other twin then?
Yes,
so we
but he
would
doesn't
have-
want to come on. He's being shy.
Yeah, it's all good. Your other one did, which is really, really cool. So
What did y'all think about Aemond attacking Aegon as well?
Oh yeah, that they're at the dragons, and then at the end.
because he knew exactly who it was, because down there he's like, idiot.
Idiot. Yep.
Yes, he did say that.
Well, my first thought was they'd be able
All right,
to
Michael.
blame it on Rhaenyra.
Michael's going to step away for a moment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't surprising.
I wonder if he was going to say that he couldn't control Vhagar like he did when he killed Lucerys. That it was collateral damage.
Okay, well, notice that when Vhagar detected the other dragon, he kind of stood up,
Yeah.
didn't he? And he says, hey, calm down.
Not ready yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were on the same side. There hadn't been established conflict between the two of them. Sorry, I'm still having trouble
if
with all
Cole
the
wouldn't have,
numbers.
No, you're okay.
I think if Cole wouldn't have made it there in time, Aemon would have killed Aegon.
Oh, definitely. Because that's the whole thing. Once the dragons went down and you're seeing, Sunfire there and he's walking up to him, he pulls his sword. And like you said, if Cole hadn't walked up behind him, I think he'd have made sure he was dead if he's not. There's no question about that.
Oh, especially
I think it was
because
a bold
of the
move.
lore, there's so many Aegons.
Yeah, there are.
Could he be
He's
Aegon the
Aegon the
Broken or somebody else?
Aegon the
He's
Crispy?
Aegon the second.
He's Aegon the Second? He's
There's
not dead.
Aegon the Conqueror, Aegon the second, and then Rhaenyra's son is Aegon the third.
All right, so he's not dead.
Main one. No.
Yeah, because it was Jaehaerys, it was Viserys, and then Aegon, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I don't know the full story, but I'm betting it's Aemon next. Because Aegon already lost his boy. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but he's going to have another one or two or
Yeah.
three.
Who? Aemon?
Aegon.
I don't know. I think he's done. I think
See,
he got
I
burnt
don't
to the crisp.
Well,
Oh,
unless
sorry,
they
Hope, what?
completely change,
Ew.
unless they can,
Don't spoil
they
anything.
moved Master Aemon up a generation. Master Aemon was supposed to be like John's great great grandfather. He was
Yeah.
supposed to be really old. And Master Aemon is the third son of Aegon II.
He over 200 years old. And
Yeah.
I've thought about that myself, too, a few times.
Well, he doesn't have to be. He could be 150. I mean, the show started 200 years before, and now we're 20 years after that.
True.
Well, someone had the timeline. Yeah, that I think what's his
Agreed,
face? Yeah,
Rockers.
well, yeah, it's about 20 years. Rockers, I'm not sure if I get the entire thing.
Aemon is suspicious as all get out.
Oh,
Under
okay.
the battle, so Rhaenys could possibly kill Aegon, placing Aegon's death on Rhaenys.
Got it. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to
Okay.
teach you more slang.
Well, it's the Gen Z slang coming in now,
Mm-hmm.
I have
which
20
I would know
Trust
if it
me, I'm
wasn't
used
for the
to it.
9 and 13-year-old.
Yep.
Hmm. Well, in the scene that sets off the what is it that sent the king to go off when he knew the
Allison.
plan?
What Allison said.
Yeah,
Oh,
Do that.
that's when it was.
he felt like he wasn't doing anything, and he had to do something. And I thought he was going to go after Daemon at Harrenhal.
Okay, what was that? The scene where she's in his room? Yeah, and he
Yeah.
says, "What are you doing here?"
Oh, no, it was after that. When he's like, they
Yeah.
don't respect me.
They were
don't-
like in the
They
family
listen to me.
common room. with
It
the
was
pretty
still in
pictures.
that scene. It was just later in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it was a little bit later in there. All right, fair enough. Because he says,
And
"Where
she's
are your
like-
father's books? I ordered them removed." With no thought to the centuries of knowledge in those pages. Says,
He
"Your
sends away the
Grace,
lip spittles.
I removed them. I didn't burn them." He says, so what is it? They don't care what I think. Who, Aegon? My counsel, Cole, Aemon, they pursued a campaign without seeking my aid or even my thoughts. He says, what thoughts would you have? Whoop! I'm the king! That's what, he said. Do you think simply wearing the crown imbues you with wisdom? Those men at the council table earned their seats. It was my hope that once enthroned, you would honor the burden of your new duties, be silent, and strive to learn from the more studied minds around you, in the hope that you might be half the king your father was. Oh.
Yep.
It hurts more with carpal tunnel. It says, or what? You'll hang me as you did your rat catchers, or have me banished as you did your hand? Oh, that's how she answers.
Well, she answered too. I think the one thing that set him off is basically she said, with your place, you're pretty much just a figurehead. You know, that's
Yeah.
all you need to be.
Allison says, I ruled in your father's absence throughout his long illness, and Otto Hightower was as cunning as a statement as ever lived. You should humbly be seeking our opinions and counsel. You have no idea the sacrifices that were made to put you on that throne. And a little bit of luck when Rhaenyra didn't flame your butt. But anyway, what would you have me do, mother? Do simply what is needed of you. Nothing.
Nothing.
That was cool.
Oh.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I love that scene between him and his dragon. Before he
I think that's what comes up next. Oh no, wait. That's a little bit later.
Well,
Yeah, what's happening next is calls on your feet to Rook's Rest to battle, and it's broad daylight. Yeah, we talked about this. We shall move now and strike by day. They will not expect it. They will not expect it because it's effing madness. Did you forget the little encounter we had on the road to Rosby? I did not. Quain, exasperated, points out, Dragonstone and the dragons are just across the bay. What? Grown tired of living, have you? Are you afraid, sir? Worse, I'm rational. I'm like, all right, we advanced. Let's go. So that was kind of cool, you know, but he didn't let his number one guy know what was going to happen. No one knew. And I think I would have at least let him know, because the point is he volunteered to ride with him. And up until this point, he bickers with him.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight with him, right? This guy has put his sword in his seat and is riding with him. So, but, you know, then again, he's not a team player. And so, well, I mean, he is a team player, but he has an attitude. But he's not turned on him. He just bickers with him. He follows all of his instructions, but whatever. You guys have some comments on that part? Otherwise, in the next scene, we see Jacaerys Valerian starts with a grave question. I see no other choice. We need to send a dragon. So they're in the dimly lit room, and they're talking about it. Rhaenyra says, where? To support the war that your vessels have been fighting in your absence, your grace. Cole's host has grown since riding abroad. He raised the levies of both Rosby and Stokeworth, and with their combined strength, they sacked Duskendale. She asked, Duskendale? She says, yeah, didn't you read the script? Yes, the city has fallen. Many darkening men declared for Aegon. Those who refused were put to the sword. I'm sorry. With a sense of dread, Rhaenyra asked, what of my father? He kept his oath. Cole took his head for it. Wow.
It was supposed to be Rhaenyra's person, not
right, the guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, I was looking at it right now. I'm like, no, she didn't say that, but that's okay. I thank you, Hope, no matter what. This took quite a bit. This still took quite a bit.
I got distracted with kids.
And me calling you.
As a matter of fact, Rocker says, seems like Aegon wants to prove that he doesn't rule like his father, further prompting his participation in the battle. You know, we did get that established. He actually wants to be liked. Remember that was in the first episode where he's trying to do the right things, and Otto's like, yeah, dude, we've got $10 in the treasury. You just gave away 9. And also in another world, that means no. 9.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, that was lame.
German.
Come on, Lord Gregor, go for the kill. No?
Nine.
My mom's from Germany. I knew what 9 was immediately.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kept my grace intact. Thank you. Um, they argue about what is going on, and she says, "Look, I inherited 80 years of peace from my father. I needed to know that there was no other path." Like, okay. And he says, "We stand at the ready." So then they're talking about Rook's Rest. Rook's Rest. I did jump a little bit ahead, but she says, "Okay, I get it. Anyone who thinks that I was indecisive, well, they're gonna get screwed. They're gonna end up karma. You think I'm decisive? It's coming for you." And
Don't mistake my patience for weakness, guys, because
yep.
you're in for it.
And right away, unlike everyone else, she says, "I fly," and they're like,
No,
"I
you
got
don't.
that." What hope?
Mhm. She's like, nope, don't think so. Everybody's like, nope, not happening.
Yeah.
And
And
it's a
then
good thing she
Rainy.
didn't.
Yeah. Well, Jaceres says, "No, I will burn Cole's lines and withdraw before King's Landing could even raise the alarm." And then Rainey
I
stepping
would
in
said
with
Bela
experience.
first.
Yeah,
Actually, seriously, folks, there's a reason why cops go in pairs. There's a reason why
Yes, there is.
pilots have a wingman. There's a
Well,
reason.
that's what I was expecting. It's like, she criticized Chase for being young and inexperienced,
You're-
but how's he going to get experience? I thought maybe he would have rode flank or flew flank with Rhaenyra.
I
Um,
almost want to say that was the mother in her stepping up at that point. She did not want to see another child go down.
True,
Yeah.
Subconsciously, that's what she was thinking.
true.
Plus, dragons are super powerful, and if they lose one because of inexperience, then that
Experience, they're down
sets them
dragon.
even further back in the war.
Yeah.
Even though they ends up losing Meleese anyway.
Yeah. Well, they both lost one dragon, both sides. So, but Melee's was her largest dragon, right?
I think
Yeah.
it's Vermithor that's the largest dragon, but
Oh, okay.
I don't think anybody has it.
But this is the moment
I think
where
it's the
Rainey
wild.
steps up and she says, "You lack experience. You must send me your girls. Melee's is your largest dragon and no stranger to battle. I will meet Cole. I wish only to fight for you," Jace says, "for your claim and mine." And Rhaenyra, understanding everything, "There's something I need to tell you, Jace. Something I should have told you when you first became heir to the throne." Okay, actually, the scene switches, I believe, because Rainey says, "I'm going."
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
She
She
walks
didn't
out.
even say goodbye to anyone, not her granddaughter, not her husband, nothing. Just goes and
Mhm.
spends time with the dragon.
Yeah. And then she tells, Viserys, "Hey, I never told you because I wasn't sure that I believed it myself. The Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or queen. They are a protector." And then she switches to the High Valyrian, "ordained to lead the Seven Kingdoms, to strengthen them and to unite them against a common foe. Viserys chose me to succeed him. My father believed that I alone was meant to be this protector. But to unite the realm, I have to send the dragons to war. The horrors I've just loosed cannot be for a crown alone. That is why I must believe what Viserys told me when he named me his heir, what Jaehaerys had told him, and what I will tell you now." So,
The Song of Ice and Fire.
and I believe this is the moment where we see Sunfire, right? And the
Yeah.
king, Aegon, is doing it on his own. He's going on his own. And it says, "Aegon the Conqueror's dream." He called it the Song of Ice and Fire. We see the battle taking place. They have a good plan. They're coming up, but they're getting hosed by the archers. But the men are still behind, so they're kind of like suckering them. I don't know, but they start to advance, and I think Aegon arrives on Sunfire. Oh wait, right.
you
Cole
see-
gets pissed because he sees Aegon first, right?
Yeah.
Or no, wait,
That wasn't the plan.
Didn't Rhaenys?
Aemon saw it. No, it was Cole that saw it first. But back up a minute.
Yeah.
Do you actually pay attention to the scene where Aegon went out and was getting close to Sunfire, and Sunfire is being like a little puppy? It's kind of booped him.
Yes.
I thought that was so cute.
She's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my master.
Rockers did say, and I don't know if it seems like Aegon wants to prove that he doesn't rule like his father, further prompting his participation in the battle. It's possible. Yeah. Well. Yeah,
he
you're
is
right.
able to fight. Daenerys was not, or never took interest in wanting to fight.
Yeah.
She preferred peace.
But
Yeah,
all
well, that
the
was what
boys
Damon
were-
did.
All the boys were enamored with the family's legacy as conquerors.
Yeah. Rocker says, damn, that whole pre-battle scene was compelling. Off topic, there was a different version of Rhaenyra's theme on her return. Oh, I didn't catch that. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. All right. Now, as the battle continues to the seven hells with you, Cole, you may as well have sounded horns to announce our coming, man. And he says, calm down. All's going to plan. And, move forward. This is what we got to do. And then Aegon arrives on Sunfire, disrupting that plan. He engages in fierce combat with Rhaenys. Yeah, that's right. Rhaenys was already there. She was starting to burn up the place. And that's where Gwaine lost his mind. Said, dude, I told you. Everything's going on plan. Let's distract this. Fire off the signal. The signal fires up. What the hell is that? He fired an arrow into the air. See, he still doesn't know. And then we see what we talked about. It was really well done, the battle. It was incredible. And we did talk about this at the very beginning of the program. Like I said, my heart skipped a beat, and it also dropped when she sent Sunfire to the ground. She'd already engaged Vhagar once, and she's kind of like flying away. And my thing is, dude, get away, alert everyone that Vhagar's there. And
With
she
that
looked
look on
back.
her face. Yeah.
Yes.
Did y'all see
She-
the preview for the next episode, though?
I have.
I did see the preview, yes.
Ooh, I didn't.
The head of Meleys is the head of the dragon that Cersei's maester builds and uses to learn how to impale the dragon in the skull with the scorpion in Game of Thrones. That was Meleys the entire time.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
So that makes me even more sad for Meleys' death,
Yeah.
because she wasn't even celebrated. She was just put in the crypts.
Well,
It's
they,
kind of
I
experimental
think
on.
they say it in the preview or in the teaser for the next episode, the traitor dragon, or something like that.
They
When,
do say that Aegon killed Meleys.
Oh yeah, that Aegon. Wait, Aegon or Aemon?
No, Aegon, and they did
Oh,
not
yes.
say your late king. They said your king. Which is why I said
That's-
he may or may not be dead, because of the way that they said that in the
History,
preview.
History is written by the victors, unfortunately. Yeah,
they-
it was
they've
sad
proven
because-
that they don't always follow the books either. So.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, that was the whole thing. Not when she got back and she starts to reprimand her council and say, okay, we ride to Gondor. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a different thing altogether. But she says, we're going to go and do what we're going to do. Anyone who questions me to their death. Especially what's been going on the last 2 days. When she looked back to see Vhagar. Meleys attack.
She
Well,
scrapped
She
her
loved
foot
Vhagar
good.
too.
My thought
Daughter's
was that Vhagar would have followed them to Dragonstone, and that she couldn't let that happen and have that battle be over Dragonstone.
I think it was a
okay.
sacrifice. Done.
Yeah,
I look at it as
I thought. Okay, no, go, Liz, go.
I look at it as with what she did. World War II history as well as I do. I look at it as a latch ditch, almost a kamikaze dive. She's like, she knew she had to do this. She wasn't going to let any other dragons come over as quickly to Dragonstone, like what Hope was saying. And it was, let's see if I'm going to take it out. If I can't take it out, I'm going to die trying. That's why she strapped herself in. She knew if she was going down with the dragon one way or the other.
Also, wouldn't she know that Corlys would want to avenge her death because he was never
Yes.
really for Rhaenyra? So if she's dead and didn't die that way, didn't become a martyr in the war, Corlys
Yep.
would not continue to be Rhaenyra's hand.
Exactly.
Well, I see your logic. I can't argue that. I just see it. I didn't think it was a suicide run. I just saw it as I'm not done fighting.
Yeah.
I like Rocker's comment. That's one way to look at it too.
It's possible. Yeah, like I said, it's just she was there. She was the battleship on scene. There's another one. What are you gonna do? Run? I don't think she has it in her. She's never run from anything.
I think if it was her and
Maybe.
Aemon against one another, she might have had a chance, but two of them together was just too distracting. I still think that even though Meleys was smaller, she could have had a fighting chance if she was not already tired
And she was wounded.
through-
She was.
Yeah.
And that's right. That's what Rocker says as well. She was wounded. And he puts Rocker says, may have turned back to face Aemon to get revenge for Lucerys. Also would have been her second missed opportunity to end the war by killing Vhagar. Yeah. I understand what you guys are saying. I'm going to have to think this through, but I saw it differently. Oh, man. Getting bummed even more so now. There it is. We did skip over a few things, folks, so I don't know if you guys want to cover that, but we covered the episode in detail.
Oh yeah.
I want to thank Hope for assisting me on this one because I just didn't have it in me. I don't have it in me. And I thank you, Hope,
I got
for
it.
your notes.
No problem.
I
Anytime.
Yeah. So, guys, comments about the episode. I have to tell you in my last thoughts, I am saddened, just saddened that Rhaenys, she is my favorite character so far. And I'm going to miss her. I don't
They gave
believe,
her a legendary death.
I was about to say, but she went out a blaze of glory.
She did.
Yeah, and I thought maybe she was going to end up in the water, but then I didn't see her unstrap herself, and then they showed the dragon on top of the lower keep of the.
And then remember I commented about that when Meleys kind of was looking back at her and gave up, was choked basically or crushed. She just
When Aegon and Sunfire came down, it was in the same way. Like this was Sunfire's belly, Aegon on the back, and when they came down, Sunfire was facing up towards the sky, wings like this. So I wonder how it turned because that's not the orientation the dragon was on the ground.
Well, maybe it turned
That's
itself. I mean, that dragon. If that dragon was dropping buckets of blood on the soldiers, that dragon.
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah. And then when Rhaenys, unfortunately, her dragon, as Greg said, broke through the line, you hear at the very end, go through the break in the line.
Yeah.
So they got the Rock.
What the biggest kicker is, all the people on the ground that were dying, fighting amongst each other, all these little side fights and stuff, they're all pointless because in the end, all the dragons have to fight each other because they're the ones that have the problems. So everyone else on the ground is just straight collateral damage. Not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Air warfare.
Aemon's dragon, Vhagar, ended up stepping on
Oh, I know. I saw that.
Does anyone think Aemon might discover the secret since he has Aegon's dagger?
Song of Ice and Fire.
Yep.
That's what
Song of Ice
that's
and
what
Fire.
it is. Song of Ice and Fire.
Thank you, rockers. Had me.
Yeah,
I was tilting my head. I was like, wait a minute.
yeah. I don't remember how the dagger tied in with
It's written.
the shrine
Yeah.
in the under the keep. Red
The
Keep.
story is written in the dagger.
Okay.
Was he
So if
going
he
to
had-
end his brother, though?
Oh yes, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, he saw him as weak, and he wasn't, he wasn't letting all the other people around him get, have their plans and way. He was the one that was ended up, working with Cole, on that plan. Even though Cole was Aegon's appointee for hand. As a tactician, so. Plus he's a bastard. He's not a nice person. He's got some of that Targaryen crazy going on.
I don't want to say I enjoyed this episode only because of what is. I tell you, I'm flooded with emotions. And when I saw a comment that someone sent me on how it crushed their soul, that line itself crushed mine. And I had a sneaky suspicion. And I'm like, okay, I have to watch it now. And I did. And it probably did because of the character that passed away. I was like, oh, man. Obviously, I didn't see it on Sunday. I'm sorry?
Now we can root for Corlys and the weird witchy lady.
Alice.
Yeah, but Corlys I don't trust.
Credit to
Sorry.
Sunfire for Aegon's drunk driving.
Oh yes, I love that.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll come back and give it another rating another day, but this was a good episode. It was very difficult. And this one's going to stay in my memory for a long time. I'm sorry, Lord Gregor.
Oh, it moved the story further.
Oh, yeah.
And there was action in it. They spent a few coins on this one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Michael's going to return, but Liz, your thoughts, and then Hope, and then we'll pretty much finish up. And I'll go back to you, Greg, if you have any more thoughts on the episode. And everyone in the chat room, your comments as well, what you thought of the episode in general. So, Liz?
I thought it was a very, very close tie to A Son for a Son. I think it might have edged out A Son for a Son just a bit because of all the special effects with the dragons. But it was a very gut-wrenching, especially the final, 15 minutes, was very gut-wrenching. The one thing that bugged me, and this is just me looking at the aesthetics of things, would somebody please talk to the props department and get the stupid wigs not to look like Halloween wigs where it's burned out, plasticky, stringy looking stuff. Get some real hair, something for the wigs. I can't stand looking
bad in this episode.
Yeah, I could not stand looking at Matt Smith's wigs. It's just, It was getting worse and worse.
They were atrocious.
I'm going to go to Hope, Lord Gregor, and then Michael for the last thoughts. And then I'll close up. If Michael has any announcements, we'll do this.
Yeah, this episode was really hard. She was my favorite character. She still is going to be my favorite character. She drove a lot of the storylines. She was the queen who never was. She was also that Rhaenyra's hand that never was, because it went to her husband. But she confided and trusted in her and not her husband. So now I'm looking forward to see what Rhaenyra does moving forward now that she no longer has Rhaenys to guide her, and also Corlys, because in a lot of ways, she did control and confine him and limit him. His anger, his ambitions, his needs, his thoughts, his ways. She molded him. She tried to keep him contained. So I'm interested to see how those two characters will transition without her.
Lord Gregor.
I agree. I'm gonna miss Rhaenys. You know, she of all the cast, I have no idea who she is, what else she's been in, but she seemed like one of the most comfortable in her character. You know, she embodied the grace and intelligence of the character very well. Um, you know, she was a mature character in a world where everybody's got to be young and pretty. So that was a plus. So yeah, and plus the dragon. I love seeing the fights. I love seeing the action and everything. But my wife. There's really nobody on the show that my wife and I are rooting for except Rhaenys and Corlys.
If NDB Media existed in the time of this, the get would be Rhaenys. And she probably would have been on the program as well.
If
the
you
dragon?
watch the end, yeah, I would. If y'all watch the end where they do her interview, she is such a sweet person, and she is older, but even her hair color and stuff, she is stunning.
Yes.
She's
Oh, yeah.
playful.
Stunning.
Yeah. Eve Best, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she
Yeah.
is great.
Definitely
Uh,
one to look for in other productions.
Yes.
Definitely gonna have to keep an eye
I'm
on.
a fan. Michael, your thoughts on the episode, and then if you have any announcements.
Well, I'll say I don't have any announcements right now. I'm working on them.
Okay.
However, the dragon fights were just so awesome.
They were.
Unless I just wasn't paying attention, they really upped their game on their dragon CGI. I mean, it was choreographed wonderfully. At least it seemed like it to me. And I was just like, wow.
This episode reminded me of what it means to have courage in the midst of danger with all odds against you. I'm not
For
doing
sure.
this to make fun. Hail Rhaenys, the queen that never was. I do mean this.
I'll toast with water. I'm not pouring more scotch.
Me and my Coke.
I thank you, Rocker. That is quite a bit. Well, like I said, I'll have another opinion on the episode when I'm a little more lucid. But I do want to remind everyone, please head on over to ndbmedia.net. I once again ask your apology, and I apologize and ask your understanding for the way I started the episode. I'm going to get again, so I'm going to make it quick. Today is the day 5 years ago when my old man passed away. And yesterday, my older brother passed away as well. And haven't done anything all day except to come over here. And I didn't know if I was going to be here or not. And at the last minute, I showed up. At the last second, I think. And I want to thank my co-hosts for being here. I want to thank everyone. And I will get around to thanking all of you. Everyone who commented. Everyone who said a little note. There were 4 siblings. There's only 3 of us now. There's myself and my 2 sisters. And as you all know, I was going to go to a gun show with my brother in August. I think I'm still going to go. I have to go back to the creator because he wanted to go and I was going to take him and I didn't get around to it. So I need to go back. There are going to be a few other things I'm going to do over this next year. We were going to get around to doing it, but his health just wasn't there and he wasn't able to hold on. I was able to speak to him. He was no longer able to speak and he knew what was going to happen. He was on the ventilator. And once they removed it, one of the last words I told him was I was lucky to have you as my brother. And I still say that. It still hasn't hit, but I think everyone that spent time with us tonight is dealing with me, and everyone who knows me in the social media. I thank you. I may not be available, but I still thank you and everyone. And I thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I'm sorry to ruin, but like I said, losing Rainey's and what happened yesterday and what today is, that sucks, man.
Hugs to you, bro.
And I thank everyone, seriously. So, thanks, guys. It won't be as bad as next week, though. I mean, today. Oh, I messed that up. Next week
It
will not
was
be as bad as today. So I thank everyone, and again, I thank you for your tolerance and your understanding. I've never been through this before in my life, so I don't know what to do. I've never said this, but I do miss them. And I'm glad I knew them for as long as I did. And for everyone else, I'll see you guys on the other side. We'll see you guys. Light and love to one and all. Peace and long life.